Hello, everybody. Welcome to Isamizu. I'm Dr. Jun.
I'm Dr. Isabel.
So we are increasing awareness to bridging gap between ancient wisdom and modern science with the knowledgeable expert to balance body and mind and spirit.
We're here with Ivan Pardo. Ivan,
welcome.
Thanks for being here with us.
Dr. Isabel, Dr. Jun, thank you for allowing me to spread the word about breathing. This is something anytime that I have the opportunity to share breathing, Buteyko breathing, I do it. It's my passion. Breathing, as you know, is the most important. We can be months without food, days without water, but we can be only minutes without oxygen. So it's different techniques, different options to get better every day. But we need to be conscious about breathing. So this is the reason that, and I am so happy. You can tell.
Thank you so much. We actually just finished a course and we talked about key elements for your quantum nature. For us, we created this phrase or this sentence, your quantum nature, that essence that we all have. And to be able to go to our essence, to be able to achieve our quantum nature, breathing is one of those key elements. So we're very excited about all that information that you're going to share with us and how Buteyko has helped a lot of people. So can you please explain a little bit to us about the technique?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, number one, I start to do Buteyko because I have my family, we have some asthma history. My oldest sister, she always suffered asthma. And last few years, she was using always 2 or 3 inhalers. She was carrying inhalers. She was living in panic of having an asthma attack.
Right.
And she had a very bad asthma attack in 2009, in that time. She ended up at the hospital and, she got over of that. But with medicine. And she was all the time shaking. The medicine, the steroids, they were hurting her nerve system. And someday, for some reason, a friend of mine talked to me about my son is dealing very well with his asthma with Russian therapy. And he gave me the name. I found these people. And I started to go to New York to take the trainings and help my sister. I was going to New York, coming back to Boston, helping my sister. In 2 weeks, she stopped using inhalers. And was something very simple to do, but that needs a lot of commitment and time. And Russian style, that you need to do it, you see results. If you don't do it, like everything, no?
Of course.
So in few months, she stopped using inhalers. In 2 weeks, she wasn't using inhalers, and she stopped having those asthma attacks. I found it fascinating. I was healthy in that period of time, but maybe 1 year later, I decided that something happened with my personal life and I get sick. I had some kind of pre-cancer cells and I decided to call when they told me at the hospital, they told me what they were going to do. I left the hospital thinking, I think that I need to find something else because I don't want to get radiation. I am too young to get radiation, I feel. So I went with my teacher and I asked her, said, what I have to do to deal with this kind of situation. She said, by your learning that breathing is key, oxygen is key. So you need to do your exercise. And I changed my life. So Buteyko became something like it's a philosophy of life. I changed my diet, I changed the way that I breathe, and I changed my thinking. and I start to get more involved with the quantum, with the holistic side of life. And Buteyko is a Russian therapy that was discovered for Dr. Konstantin Buteyko in the 50s. She used to suffer a chronic hyperventilation. And he started to observe that when people were going to die, everybody was breathing, people breathe faster and louder. He went to study the Bohr effect, that is the gases interchange. And he was brilliant. He was a brilliant man. He was a real, he was an engineer and an MD. So he mixed these two careers, and he started to find out that by changing the breathing habits, people were able to have a different quality of life. And by doing that, he reverses his chronic hypertension. He discovered a lot of different things with breathing, and he went to show his discoveries to the medical community in the Soviet Union at that time. And of course, he gets rejection, say, no, you are cuckoo. You cannot talk about this. You cannot say that people get sick because they breathe too much, because they are hyperventilating. And that was his biggest discovery, basically, that hyperventilation is the foundation for more than 200 chronic illnesses. So and we are all hyperventilating. Well, I found out that a very simple way to find out that we hyperventilate is when we wake up at night and we are sleeping and we need to drink water. We are breathing through the mouth. And our mouth gets dry, we need to drink water. So if something of your clients or people who are seeing this video notice that they need to drink water while they sleep, it's because they are sleeping with the mouth open.
Yes, and I do remember you were mentioning that we need to be taping our mouth. Is that correct?
Yes, not everybody. People who suffer of panic attacks, the tape is not good for them. People who suffer of some kind of anxiety, not only panic attacks, people with anxiety, I don't recommend using the tape. They need to go through slow. And they need always, we suggest, go with a personal breathing coach because it's going to make a difference. Finally, it's going to make a difference. When people are hyperventilating, what is happening in that moment? We are losing carbon dioxide 5 times faster than regular. And all the immune system or circulatory system start to collapse. Digestive system start to collapse too with hyperventilation. But if we have a different reaction to a panic situation, our brain immediately works in a parasympathetic mood, which is totally different. So the reaction is going to come from the brain because the brain is going to get enough oxygen to work and calm down the body. So breathing is the key of everything.
Especially right now, through the pandemic, COVID virus, they're attacking for the respiratory system. I mean, we really need this technique more than ever, right? So could you share maybe the other benefits from the practicing the Buteyko besides what you did explain? Yes,
absolutely. I am going to talk about the mistakes that we make when we breathe and we don't notice. So mistake number 1, breathing through the mouth. In kids, it's very important. Breathing is totally connected with the facial development. So mouth breathing is one. Breathing light, breathing only with the upper chest is another mistake, because we call something like a dead oxygen. The oxygen is not going to the diaphragm. So it's very important to breathe slow, but bringing the oxygen to the diaphragm. I say something that people laugh. Say, remember that your breathing system is from your nose to your diaphragm. So our nose is part of our breathing system. Mm-hmm. The lungs, what happens in your lungs reflects in your nose, and what is happening in your nose reflects in your lungs. So we need to be aware about how are we breathing. We are breathing too light? No, I need to take slow breaths, but take them deeply and activate that beautiful organ, muscle that is the diaphragm. The diaphragm, besides the activity, is giving a massage to your digestive system when we breathe properly. So this is the second mistake. Don't breathe with your upper chest. Breathe more consciously. Another mistake that we generate is irregular breathing. People are breathing different every time or making no noise. If you feel someone else breathing like that, it's because no doubt has breathing problems. So this is something that needs to be checked. Irregular breathing. Another mistake for breathing, another mistake is breathing too fast. People who are breathing more than 14 times per minute, they are hyperventilating big time. And the more breaths you take a minute, your immune system is compromised. And your parasympathetic system is not going to work as should work when the breathing is too fast.
That's amazing. So the more we breathe, our immune system becomes affected.
We start to get compromised because it's a biochemical imbalance that we start to have. The metabolism change. So this is the science from Buteyko is, okay, how can you set that? Well, we are, the Bohr effect is the gases interchange. Mm-hmm. When the oxygen is coming to the lungs, carbon dioxide get the oxygen and create that moment of delivery the oxygen to the blood and the tissues. When we are breathing too much, the oxygen in some point is dead oxygen, is not going deeply to the lungs. The carbon dioxide is not active, so the large amount of oxygen create even hypertension. So people who are suffering from hypertension, from problems with blood pressure, mostly of time they are connected with their breathing. And this is something that we need to get the dots together, to put them together. So this is creating this is creating this. Breathing generates a lot of issues. Mm-hmm. So this is the pH in your blood. When the person is breathing too much, the pH became very acidic. So in that moment, a lot of immune disorders start to generate little by little. But this is a total connection between breathing, circulatory system. We are all depending of breathing. So conscious breathing is really important to think about it.
Mm-hmm. Yes, that's true. And then so also because of the immune system, nervous system. So when you're breathing correctly, you're activating the parasympathetic, that relaxation part of your system, nervous system. So then that also it has a relationship with the immune system. So we were on the fourth step. Is that correct?
Yes.
Let's continue with that, because people, it will be really interesting to find out if they are having any other issues. Maybe they think they're breathing correctly and they're not.
Yes.
Deep breathing is another issue when deep breathing creates anomalies with metabolism, because deep breathings deplete carbon dioxide, CO2. I have a video that I want to share. It's a 1.5 minute video.
Oh, we would love to.
Yes.
What we found is that the act of breathing actually increases activity in parts of the brain that are important for smell, emotion, and memory. And these changes in brain activity also actually lead to cognitive changes over the course of the breathing cycle as well. We found that the recognition of fearful facial expressions is actually faster during inhalation compared to exhalation. So this is showing activity in the brain, in the emotion part of the brain, that's the amygdala, during nose breathing and mouth breathing. And you can see the black line is the person's breathing signal. So when they begin to inhale, you see these big increases in activity when inhaling through the nose, whereas there's no significant increase when breathing through the mouth. We could potentially use this fact to our advantage. For example, if you're in a dangerous environment with fearful stimuli, our data indicate that you can respond more quickly if you are inhaling through your nose.
That's amazing. Well, thank you so much for sharing. Yes.
Amazing.
Is a lot of science backing up Buteyko, and a lot of studies in South Africa, Australia. Buteyko was big in the Soviet Union in some period of time, was huge between athletes. You know, Soviet Union in the 70s and 80s, they were winning a lot of gold medals, and Buteyko training was part of that process. Buteyko is viewed is huge with athletes, with sports, because really people get better performance. I work with athletes once in a while too, and they notice the difference when they start to breathe through the nose all the time.
So you sharing all the Buteyko for since 2011, so it's been a while. So what type of clients and people are really fascinated with this technique and method that you've been sharing, that you notice the common problems? They say, oh, I have these issues, I want to incorporate that breathing technique. So could you tell us about it?
I will say number one is asthma. People with asthma Buteyko works really fast with people with asthma. They notice a difference in a week. People suffering of panic attacks, too. The number three will be sleep apnea and sleeping problems in general. And something that is very beautiful, that I love to work with elderly people who are suffering from COPD, chronic obstruction, is beautiful because I have been working with people in their 90s, and they are not able to go few steps because they get shortness of breath. They start to practice Buteyko, and they have the time to do it. So it's a big advantage. So in few days, they notice the difference. Also, COPD is very interesting with people, with elderly people. But I work with athletes too, that they want to get a better performance. They want to have more activity, more results. So number one is asthma, no doubts.
Yeah. So which one has been the most transformational story, or which patient has impacted you and has impacted that life?
I have several, but I have one of the things that I do as a Buteyko trainer is I give exercise to my student, and my student needs to send me every day while we are giving the training. I have to be in contact with the student. He has to report how is his breathing every single day. How was his CP, control pulse? This is a measure to know how is carbon dioxide and oxygen. And it's something very simple to do. So, but they have to do it every day, and they have to report that to me.
Is it very hard to learn the technique?
No, it's
a little bit of how it works.
Yes,
it's so simple that this is hard. Yes, I will put it like that. Well, when I start to train with Buteyko, they were giving me exercise about do 30 minutes slow breathing. Breathe through your nose, exhale, exhale, exhale. And at some point I was thinking, this doesn't make sense. This is so boring. Getting to the point of breathing consciously is the most difficult. But when you get there, it's so simple. Buteyko is very simple. It's dedication and commitment. But if someone really wants to learn Buteyko, it's just, if they want to do it, they do it.
So it's basically breathing through your nose, inhaling and exhaling through your nose. So you're expanding your belly, and you have to do this exercise for 30 minutes a day.
Yes, we have different kind of exercise. Mm-hmm. For example, I am going to share one exercise that we use with person with asthma who are suffering an asthma attack. And if for some reason they don't have the inhaler by hand, they can do some, because we always request, they say, always have your inhaler. Your inhaler is a savior. So we are not against doctors or anything like that. We just are supporting that. But in case that someone doesn't have the inhaler and is suffering an asthma attack, what they have to do? They have to slow down the breath. They have that shortness of breath. They need to make it even shorter to increase carbon dioxide. So we are going to do, if you want me,
yes,
we are going to do 3 minutes of slow breathing.
Perfect.
Focusing in the exhalation.
Okay.
The key, I find out that the key of Buteyko is the exhale. When you exhale to the end and slow down, you finish the exhalation and you wait a couple of seconds and you inhale again a little bit and you exhale slowly, carbon dioxide starts to go up and up and up and up. And it's very powerful. Carbon dioxide is calm people. When it goes up, you feel the calmness. And we talk more about carbon dioxide than oxygen. Because if you don't have, you can have a lot of oxygen coming, but if you don't have enough carbon dioxide supporting that oxygen, it's not going to work. And this is what is happening at hospitals with the respirators. This is, and we have it's not an argument, but we said, well, okay, you can get all the oxygen that you have, but if your levels of carbon dioxide are low, the oxygen is not going to work. It's not going to go to the brain. It's not going to do the work that has to do. So this is very important. So we are going now.
It's just like everything in life, balance.
Homeostasis.
The yin and the yang.
Yes.
Positive and the negative.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, let's get ready for.
Okay, we are ready.
Breathing.
Okay, so I suggest that you can stretch your neck a little bit, close your eyes, and you are going to take a deep but very slow breath initially. Start to inhale very slowly through your nose. Feel your diaphragm expanding a little bit. Hold it. And now start to exhale very slow until the end. Now the next inhale is going to be half of the first one. We are going to inhale a little bit less, hold it, and you are going to exhale very slowly again to the end, to the end, to the end. And now you are going to take a sip of air through the nose. Only feel your nose and bring that air down to the diaphragm, expanded. You are going to feel a little bit shortness of breath. And you are going to exhale. You are going to take now a deep breath again, very slow. And you are going to feel the air coming into your diaphragm. Hold it and exhale and exhale and exhale. Your body temperature is going to increase a little bit because your system is reacting. Your oxygen is getting to your whole body right now. That happens only in 3 minutes.
Amazing.
People are going to feel a little bit starving for air. Mm-hmm. Feeling air starvation is not bad.
Okay.
It's not bad. It's your body and your brain, the phrenic nerve, start to send message to your brain when the phrenic nerve is the nerve that is in charge of your brain activity for your oxygen, for your breathing, basically. It's sending message to your brain. But the phrenic nerve, we don't use it.
No. Mm-hmm.
Because we don't use the diaphragm. And when we start to use the diaphragm properly, bring the air to the bottom, the phrenic nerve start to work, start to reactivate in some way. So the breathing center, which is located, mine is here, start to get a really, really, really good activity, and the brain start to send message saying the breathing has to be slower and slower, and that becomes a conscious breathing in some point. After 3-4 weeks of regular practice, became a natural way to breathe. And we start now the tape. What happened during the day? We are conscious about the breathing. We are checking that we are breathing through the nose and we are keeping the mouth closed. What happened at night? We can control it. We're going to sleep. So the best way to control is the tape. As I said, the tape is not, I don't recommend the tape for people suffering from panic attacks or anxiety because it's not going to help. But if you are not suffering from that, you take a little bit of tape, take the glue, and 5 minutes before you go to bed, just
Oh. So what happens if somebody has a cold and they're not able to breathe through their nose?
If they have congestion, I have a very good exercise for descongest your nose. Exhale. The best that they can. If they have to exhale through the mouth, they do it because the nose is congested. So pinch your nose.
Oh, so you do a lot of different movements in there.
Can be this one, very gentle. Some people do this and they ended up breaking their necks. We don't want that. It's no liability for that. But after the exhalation, so always here is coming out, pinch your nose, do the exercise. That has to be repeated at least 4 or 5 times.
Okay.
But in 5 minutes, the person descongests their nose. It's simple.
Very
It's mechanics. Mechanics. The inflammation starts. But if someone is really suffering with congestion, don't take your mouth because it's going to be very uncomfortable. It's not dangerous, but it's going to be uncomfortable. So this exercise to descongest really works for a lot of people.
Very good.
Those are the tapes for sleeping. For the tape is beautiful for sleeping at night.
Well, thank you so much for sharing your tips and your knowledge to expand the awareness about the conscious breathing. This is brilliant.
Any last words, Ivan, that you want to share with the world, and any recommendations, suggestions?
Any recommendations that breathing is, remember that breathing supports your whole body. You can have super vitamins, super food, super exercise, whatever you want. But if you are not in connection with yourself, if you are not in connection with your breathing, things that you do are not going to work as you want. Think about your breathing often. If you are with your family, with your kids, observe how are they breathing. If they are breathing through the mouth, don't yelling at them. Try to explain. Breathing properly makes you more gentle.
Oh, very good. Yes.
I believe so. Breathing properly, breathing consciously makes your awareness expand.
I love that because that's our slogan. That's our motto. Awareness to well-being. So we need to be aware of what we're doing. We need to be aware and conscious of our breathing to be able to achieve well-being.
Yes. Breathing is a gift, and we take it for granted.
That is correct.
So,
well,
yes. And could you tell us how people can connect with you, your contact, social media, your website? Well, we're going to write it down in the description, everybody, but please tell us how we can connect with you.
People can go to Respiratology in Facebook. Respiratology in Facebook. I always respond any request. I can give you my other site is Reiki Van.now. That site, it's like a landing page.
Well, thank you, Ivan.
Thank you so much for sharing. Yes, and everybody, please write, comment, and share, like, subscribe, and we like to really keep expanding awareness to bring out the knowledgeable experts. So thank you so much, Ivan, joining us.
Thanks to both of you. That was beautiful for the opportunity, and I feel very grateful being here today, right now with you, with both of you.